Let's look at buy box offers. This one is going to show you all of the different offers by the other sellers inside that buy box or who are competing for that buy box. So before I get started, three main things. Make sure you've got your extension installed and it's activated with your subscription ID. If it doesn't save, do it in incognito mode because you have to bypass Google's cache. Secondly, make sure that you've got your seller nickname added into our system at your Gorilla ROI account because you don't want to be using your seller ID. It can get confusing when you're trying to switch between accounts. And thirdly, for European and Spanish speaking countries, if you're in one of those, your locale settings is going to require using semicolon instead of a comma in the formula. Okay, so those are the three main things that usually trips a lot of people up. Let's get into it. To start, I've got an ASIN list here, but let me just change this to a SKU list. Okay, if you don't know how to use these to pull up your ASINs or your SKUs, please look at the documentation and the videos in the on the other page. I've got my SKUs loaded now, and I'm going to start with the first SKU. And you type in Gorilla underscore buy box offers, select buy box offers. This function is designed, like I said, to show you the different all of the different sellers competing for that buy box. So if there are 5 sellers, it's going to append or create a table with 5 different line items, right? So this is one of the very few formulas in our system where you cannot use a range. Okay, so the first one is going to select this test seller to nickname. That's what I use for my store nickname for this demo. And the next one that's highlighted is telling me to use the SKU. Okay, and in the documentation, it says only one SKU or ASIN is accepted, not a range. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm going to select the first one in A2. And this is the easiest version of the formula that you can use. So you add your nickname as well as select a single SKU, and it's going to generate a table with the offers on the buy box, right? As the name suggests, buy box offers. So you've got all this information. Is it Amazon? Is it FBM? Is it winning the buy box? Yes, no. The different pricing as well as what is it? The feedback count of the seller. So you get all of the information based on who is actually on that listing. I'll show you what happens if you try to do a range. It's going to throw an error. So delete this and say A2 to say A10. It's going to throw an error, and then if you hover your mouse over it, you'll see that it only accepts a single value. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. So rather than A2, now I'm going to do A3, and you'll see that same thing, it creates another table. Let's see if there's anything else. So again, you can select the marketplace. So if you're selling in, say, US, Canada, and Mexico, and you want to see the differences in between the marketplaces, just enter the marketplace code. And the header, what the header is pretty much saying, do you want to display the table header here? Yes or no. By default, it's set to true or yes, but if you want to turn it off, you can set it to false, and then this will disappear.